What's up guys, it's me K42, and today I'm going to be ranking all of the Incredibox unreleased mods. To start out, I'm going to explain how I'm going to judge each mod and put them where they are. The big thing is accuracy to the song and how well the sounds, obviously match up with the track that it's based off of and the quality of the sounds. Another thing I'm going to be looking at is, does the character designs match the Incredibox style? So simplistic-ish, not too simple but not too complex, and stuff that just kind of makes sense and you'd be like, yeah, that could be in an Incredibox version. When I first had the idea for this video, I planned on just ranking the individual tracks based on the mod or mods that were associated with that track. But since the two believes, I decided to just rank them separately. But I do want to mention two things, the two mods that are not, the two tracks, sorry, that are not included in this video and what I saw on them. So technically in 9th place, we've got Chao Sanji. The only thing I saw on Chao Sanji is a G-Von reskin, splash screen, and that's straight up just it. Nothing even close to a mod, so obviously it's going to be 10th. And 9th, we're moving on to the clock. I only saw the clock as a scratch mod, which you guys all know does not count as a real mod. So it will not be included in the 8 that are being ranked, which kind of stinks. The clock was my personal favorite when it first came out. Obviously it's changed, but it is still in my top 3-4 of all tracks. I'm hoping somebody's going to get it done soon though. Now we are going to move on to the 8 full mods based on an unreleased track. If there's any more that isn't included, that are actual mods, not scratch, that were not included in this video, please comment them down below. And I don't know what I'm gonna do if there is one, but just for future notice and just so I know, please let me know. But to start off, in 8th place, lowest of all the official unreleased mods, is Two Faces. Putting RB Series' incident aside, unbiased judgment, it deserves to be in the bottom. The sounds are just not anywhere near what was in the track. There are some that are close. Obviously the beats are super easy to make. That's like one thing every mod hits on is the beats. But other than the beats, not very many sounds really even sound like they were in the track. There was a little too much freedom with, I think, 1 or 2 sounds. It really just doesn't say Two Faces to me very well. The voices, there's some problems there. That's going to be a common theme. The voices seem to be the hardest out of any mod to make, whether it's completely original based on something, voices are hard to do. I understand that. The effects just don't seem like they're it. The melodies just ain't it. And again, that's one thing I'm going to critique. Incredibox, basically, I'm pretty sure all of their sounds are at least somewhat mouth generated or mouth sourced, mouth sampled, which is what I usually take into account when I make music for mods. A lot of these sounds had no human involvement other than obviously making it. Just nothing from here, all on the screen, and that's just not it. And the style, the designs, they're just not even close to the Incredibox style. They're way too much. Of course, this is the first one to ever be released, but RB Series kind of cranked out mods like crazy, and I'm gonna be honest, none of them were really there. Of course, the mod does lose points because it was made by somebody who likes them young. The 7th unreleased mod is Geek Dance. Geek Dance, one of the earlier ones as well, I believe 3rd. It's got some things to work on. I'd say they're pretty close with the art style, but with some characters, it's pretty off. I mean, I know there's some hats that really look poor quality and stuff, but mostly they're kind of there, just not quite there in terms of art style. The melodies and voices seem to be mismanaged. I mean, there was so much opportunity for a different kind of voice to get into the voice category. I think melody 5 could have possibly been a voice, combined with another thing there. I think one of the voices, but the melodies, 4 of them have the same sort of progression. With The Last Day, the melodies, yes, they follow the same progression, 3 of them, but they were all pretty different. With Geek Dance, they're too similar. There's just not enough differences between them. And with the melodies and voices, again, not the best quality of sound. I think that the effects were well replicated for an Incredibox version and sound pretty good. Effects and beats obviously being beats. But again, melodies and voices I feel like just were not executed to where they could have been, and they kind of fall flat compared to the track. Again, Geek Dance is one of the least popular ones in general, I think. I know it's one of my lower down, but again, it's just not the best. And in 6th place is PMBR's Believe. This one will be compared to the other Believe later in this video when I get to that mod. First of all, the style is just not there. It's just obviously off from Incredibox's style. It's a uniquer style, but again, I wanna hammer that home because it's based off an Incredibox official track. The sounds are not recreated too well. The melodies, there are some hits, but I think only 2. The effects have a couple loose ends, but not the best recreated sounds. I do think the way the voices were weird. You could have there were 2 that could have been 1. It was like true love feeling. I feel like that just should have been 1. I'm not sure if the other mod did that, but it just makes sense to put them together, especially in the track context, where I don't think there's a moment where it's heard alone unless it's a break to go to a different part of the song. That's something I just feel like shouldn't have happened. The splash is definitely not it's too small. The characters are smaller and more down. That's something that needs to be done. You just need a better splash. 1/4 of a bonus point here. They have a Jeans Blue mode, which is what you'll be seeing on the footage that I recorded of me making a mix in this version. Pretty cool. Coming in at my 5th place is Pushing Life. Pushing Life is my favorite unreleased track, but you can tell that I'm unbiased because it's 5th. Just barely in that top 5 out of 8, technically 10, but there are some things to gripe on. The style is fairly close. I'd say some of them, it's like, yeah, maybe not, but then there's some of them like, yeah, that probably happened. It's a 50-50, but the colors, in my opinion, they're just a little too neon, bright. There could be bright colors like in V9, there's definitely a bunch of brightness there, but this is like a neon bright, and it just doesn't seem Incredibox style enough. I don't think they've had colors like that. With the sounds, I'd say they go 50-50, excluding the beats. There's one thing I want to add with the snare, the solo snare, nothing but snare. I like how they had the reverb on that. That's a really nice touch. But other than that, with the sounds, I'd say they hit 50% of the time. The melodies carry this mod. Wouldn't be the only mod, I think, on this list where the melodies carry, but really good melodies. The voices, like the other mods before it, just couldn't get them quite right in some areas. Some areas they were pretty good. Again, hard to make voices, and the effects are good. I changed my mind from the video. Every single sound group except for beats has at least a sound that it's like, voices and effects more. There might be one melody, but that's a big thing and why it's not higher up. That and also the art style.
Hey, if you're enjoying the video this far, please consider subscribing and checking out the Discord server in the description. Thank you, and let's continue with the video.
Coming in fourth, it will be Popsay. Popsay was fairly recent, I think like a couple months ago, but definitely a big new release. Obviously, person from Brazil, that whole sphere, they're really good at mad making. It's just compared to The Last Day, this just falls super far down. Obviously they copied the Brazil style, but two categories are just dark and pretty much colorless, and the other two are pretty dark. The sounds, again, they're always pretty good. I don't think there was any problems, honestly. Personally, the sounds, again, were pretty well remade, just not to the same level as Last Day was. And the icons, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest reason why they just aren't living up to it, because the icons are nothing like the Incredibox icons. There's just no redeeming that. I know they were trying to go in a different direction, but again, it's just my personal opinion. It's not there. And the three mods above them may not have recreated the sounds maybe as like high as it, maybe like a little down here, but they make up for it in character design and other things. If it was just a little bit more lively and the icons were better, it would have been maybe second or third. In third place, Believe by the Incredibox Remade team. Starting with the sounds, they did a really good job recreating them. For the most part, it was a pretty good recreation in all sounds and in all categories. And when I mean all, even beats. They beat out the first Believe. And the character designs, obviously inspired off Little Sunrise, not Little Miss. Based on Sunrise. And other than some being a little too much, that fits the Incredibox style. And again, the colors are bright, but not too bright. So the character designs and the sounds are fairly good. The reason this one isn't higher, because I'm speaking so highly of it, is just the next two mods. They just do the sounds better, and they do other things better too. You guys will find out. But coming in at second of the mods, it will be Deep Blue. The thing that I like about Deep Blue is the color concept. It was a well thought out concept. They have every single category be blue, which I thought is a great idea. It is super smart, and it seems like something Incredibox could have done with that track if they made it into a version. But you want to know one of the tracks that was between V7 and V8 that could have possibly been? V8, Deep Blue. I think that Incredibox could have possibly had an idea to have different variations of blue be through the characters, because I feel like blue was maybe one of the most, probably maybe the most popular color there is. But I thought that was just an absolutely beautiful idea, a very smart idea. Obviously the character designs are fairly close to the actual Incredibox designs. It's very smart here, taking inspiration from not just Sunrise, but also The Love. So you've got a combination of The Love and Sunrise, which was a very smart idea. With the sounds, all of them are pretty good. The only problems I have with the sounds is the voices. The lyrical voices just do not sound good, but they get strongly carried by the melodies. The melodies? Beautiful, man. The melodies are just so good. I think they're some of the top melodies in modding ever. They fit the song right, and they just sound good. The effects are done pretty well, and obviously it's the beats. But Deep Blue, when it came to all of the sounds except for a couple of the voices, the character designs, and the overall concept behind the colors, I mean, obviously, Deep Blue is a easy top contender. And for those of you that are saying, the melodies are blue, here's proof. They're blue. And my top Incredibox Unreleased mod You guys already know it because it's the last one left. You guys probably could have guessed before this video. It's the last day. Nothing else can be as perfect as the last day was to the original track. Every single sound category was executed so well. The effects, which seems to be not the best thing, not the easiest one to do, beautiful. The melodies, they were just amazing. Blew me out of the water. How 3 of them have the same progression, but they sound differently and they work so well together and on their own. The voices, they are so well done. You just can't understate how well done these voices are made. And the beats, it's the beats, man. You can't mess up the beats, but again, they're pretty good beats. And the designs, of course, based off the love. You can't mess that up. Perfect throughout the board, mixing concepts of the love and original ideas. These glasses were a really good idea, and they were executed very well. Other than the Unreleased, this just might be one of the best mods ever, like easily, like top 3. Person from Brazil cooked up an entire meal for every single European, North American, South American, Asian. Every single continent is eating well. You can't beat this mod in terms of recreating. It's just simply the GOAT at recreating an original track. Let me know down in the comments how you guys feel on each individual version, and what your thoughts are. And have a good day. Goodbye.